Hello there, sports gamers. Welcome back into the channel. I'm Brandon Satterwhite, and MLB The Show 24 is officially out now. And I wanted to give you guys a little bit of just a crash course for beginners on Diamond Dynasty. Now, I know there's a lot of you out there that don't like card collecting game modes in sports games. You don't like the Ultimate Team modes, and I completely understand that. Most of them are very pay to win. They are not that fun to play. I don't really play any other card collecting game mode. I don't play Madden Ultimate Team. I don't play NHL Ultimate Team. I don't play NBA 2K's My Team. I don't play any of those modes, but I do play a lot of Diamond Dynasty. And the reason for that is because you can get basically every card in the game for free just by playing the game. And you look at my team there here on the screen, you see all of these diamonds, you see pretty high overalls, 89, 90s across the board, and you probably think to yourself, oh, this guy probably spent hundreds or thousands of dollars on packs. No, I am no money spent, and I have been in Diamond Dynasty, no money spent since MLB The Show 21, and I always have a great team. I always am able to get all the cards I want just by playing the game. And so I wanted to give you guys a little crash course and show you, if you are curious or if you have been wanting to maybe check this mode out because maybe you've heard that it's the best of the card collecting modes, which I agree with, I think it is. I just want to give y'all the basics so you know how to get yourself started, and then I'm going to do some other videos going more in depth, give you some tips and tricks on some of the different modes, show you how I approach some of them and how I go about completing objectives as quickly as possible. So there's a lot to go over here, so let's get into it.
Sports Gamers Online is the #1 source for the sports gamer.
Alright, so in Diamond Dynasty, here on the home tab, you have Manage Squad, Customize, Stats, and then the Player Updates. Player Updates, that's where you'll see supercharged players. So if a player has a really good game in real life, they'll supercharge his card. So here, Mookie Betts, usually a 91, his live series card. He's supercharged, so you can see where he has some added attributes here for a certain amount of time. So his stats have gone up, as well as Drake Cronenworth. He's usually a 73. They've supercharged him up to a 91 overall here. So that's something they do in the game from time to time. That's also where you'll see the roster updates whenever those happen. We'll talk about those in a different video. But I want to talk about the Manage Squad screen here. And so as you see here, here is our team. We have all of the regular positions as well as a DH. There is DH in Diamond Dynasty ever since MLB The Show 22, I believe, is when they added that in. And like I said before, every card here that you see on this screen, I got for free in this game. I got every single card here absolutely for free. You can go into Diamond Dynasty right now, start playing it, and get every card that I have shown here on the screen. So basically, you're just going to set your lineup here. You'll go into, you know, say I want my left field. So here I have all my left fielders, players with that as their primary position. I hit R1, and I can see everyone that has left field as a secondary position. If you play someone at a secondary position, you'll get a slight penalty to arm accuracy, fielding, reaction, and blocking, but not a huge penalty to that. And then if you play someone out of position, you'll get a very big penalty to those. And then you can also set filters. So if I wanted to make sure my left fielder is someone from the Yankees or something like that, then you can do that. And there are times that you'll want to do that because you'll have an objective for, like, get so much XP or get so many hits with players from the AL East, or you'll be trying to build a theme team, which we'll talk about in other videos and stuff. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. You have all of your 8 fielding positions, you have your DH, and then you have 4 bench slots. I usually try to keep at least some speed on the bench, especially if, like, I have a catcher here like Gary Sanchez that has a very low speed, and I like to pinch run, especially in the 3-inning game modes like Events or Conquest. I like to pinch run because every run matters in those sort of games. So I always like to keep a backup catcher if I'm going to be swapping out the catcher a lot. If I have a third baseman that's super slow and I'm going to be pinch running him a lot, I like to keep an extra third baseman. So just know where, if you're going to be pinch running, know where you're going to be pinch running, who you're going to be pinch running for, and keep a backup for that position, as well as keeping the people that you're going to be using to pinch run in those situations. And then you have your 5 starting pitchers, and then you have your bullpen as well. Pretty straightforward here. And then if you go over to the right, you can see the lineup. You can set this however you want, just like you can in any other game mode as well. And then if you go over here to the left, now notice this Byron Buxton card up here. You can see on the card it says Captain Cornerstone. So captains are a important part of Diamond Dynasty. They introduced them last year, and if we go over here to the left, we go to the captain screen. So you are able to have both a hitting and a pitching captain. I don't currently have a pitching captain on my team, so that screen is blank, but I do have this Byron Buxton hitting captain. Now, what it says there is Tier 1 boost, 6 of 5 hitters with under 60 vision on your squad. So I have 6 hitters currently in my lineup, and that includes those 4 guys on the bench as well. So they count towards these requirements as well, but I have 6 of those guys on my squad. The requirement is only 5, so I get the Tier 1 boost, which gives those players, and only those players, +5 power against righties and +5 power against lefties. Now, I have to make sure to activate my captain, so just putting a captain out there does not mean that they are active. You have to go into the captain screen, you hit X on PlayStation or A on Xbox, and it brings up this little menu, and then you can hit assign as hitting captain. You'll see the big captain logo flash there, and now you can see above Buxton it says Tier 1 boost. So I have the Tier 1 boost activated, and you can see the different players with the little up arrow. Those are the players that are getting the +5 power against righties and lefty boost, and Buxton is one of those guys, so he will get that boost as well. Let's say I want to get that Tier 2 boost, because then I get +10 power both sides, plus +5 to speed and +5 to fielding ability. So what I'll do is I'll go down here to my bench, and I'll just scroll through here, and here's Matt Olson. He has that little arrow, so I'll make sure that he's on my bench. Harry Ford already has it. So let's see if we can find another one. And here's James Wood and Julio Rodriguez. They both have it. And then we can throw James Wood on the bench as well. He's got really good speed, as does Julio Rodriguez. So we're still getting the speed we want for our pinch runners if we need to use them. And now we have 9 players with under 60 vision. So now we get the Tier 2 boost for all of those players. So if you are trying to use a captain and get those boosts, make sure that you are filling your bench with players who meet the requirements so you can push for those Tier 2 or even Tier 3 boosts. That's enough for the lineup screen. Now let's go over to programs. This is where you're going to be earning the majority of your cards in Diamond Dynasty. So there's 3 types of programs. There's your XP reward path, there's Team Affinity, and then there's other programs. So let's start with the XP reward path. So every season there will be a new XP reward path, and a season lasts about 3 months or 12 weeks. I believe there's supposed to be 4 of them throughout the course of MLB The Show 24, and it's exactly what it is. It's a reward path, and you get these rewards by earning XP. Now, how do you earn XP? You earn XP either through gameplay or by completing objectives. Now, gameplay, that's anywhere in MLB The Show. So even if you're playing Play Now, if you're playing Franchise, if you're playing Road to the Show, any sort of gameplay will get you XP and will get you progress along this. So if you aren't even playing Diamond Dynasty and you've just been playing, Franchise ever since the game came out, you probably have some XP, and you probably have maybe enough even for this 85 Roberto Clemente at this point in a few packs as well. So maybe when you log in for the first time, if you log in after watching this video, you might already have a few rewards in there just from this XP reward path alone. But you can also get XP for the path by completing objectives. We'll see that in a minute when we look at some of the different goals in modes like Conquest or Showdown or mini seasons. Also from the different programs, a lot of the rewards in the programs will be XP, and that's just progress along this. And the XP reward path is where you will get some of the most powerful cards in the entire game. For example, this is where the hitter and pitcher captain packs are. Of course, they're also in the shop as well, but we're not going to buy them. Do not buy packs. I do not recommend it. It is a waste of stubs. Stubs, by the way, is the currency within Diamond Dynasty. Do not waste them there. If you want a card, buy the card you want. Don't buy a pack hoping that you'll get the card you actually want. The hitter captains packs are very interesting because, like the Byron Buxton that we saw earlier, these are hitting captains that can boost either hitting stats or pitching stats. So like this Paul Molitor one, you can see 8 players from the Blue Jays. So that's hitters or pitchers. And he boosts a couple of hitting stats and a couple of pitching stats. So that's something that's new this year, is that you have a lot of captains that will boost both hitters and pitchers. And then if you have a pitching captain that also does that, the boosts from the hitting and the pitching captain stack. So, you know, if one is boosting power and the other's boosting power, then you have those active and you meet the requirements for them, you're going to get both boosts. So that's just a fun part of team building, you know, experimenting with different builds, with different lineups, with different captains. That's all part of the fun, testing out new lineups, testing out different strategies, different ways to try and get the best team. And that's something that's fun. Team building, you know, just seeing you slowly progress forward throughout the course of the year. That's where a lot of the fun of Diamond Dynasty comes from. But you have the hitting captains, you have your pitching captains, you get 2 of those each, and then there's also just straight up cards along the XP reward path here in Season 1, like you have this 91 Alfonso Soriano that looks really, really good, great contact, power, and speed. You have this Mike Napoli catcher with great power. I mean, look at that, 122 and 114 power. I mean, that's just incredible. But the big thing is here all the way down at 1 million XP. Now, the thing about this is it's going to take you a while to get to this boss pack. Like I said, these seasons last 3 months, and so they don't want you going out and getting this day one. It's supposed to be something that you work towards over a long period of time, and you slowly but surely make your way there as your team gets more and more better. As they release newer and newer content, more powerful content, eventually you'll get here to the boss packs. And this is where you have your 99 overalls and, you know, this Andy Pettitte, the Larry Walker, and the Jimmy Rollins. These are all really good cards. I mean, you just look at these stats and they're absolutely incredible. And there's 3 of them here. So if you finish this XP reward path, that's 3 free 99 overall cards that you can add to your team. Now, there is a daily cap on the amount of XP that you can earn towards the XP reward path from gameplay. So I think it's like 40,000 XP a day from gameplay. Now, if you hit that cap, you can still earn XP towards the reward path from completing objectives in other modes or earning XP rewards in other programs and stuff. You just can't earn any more from gameplay. And that's because a few years ago, people found that you could like glitch it by like just going into like an exhibition game where you controlled both teams and just continuously intentionally walked. So you just kept scoring runs, and then they would do that for like 3 or 4 hours, get 1 million XP, and then get all the rewards the first night. And then it's like, okay, you have the best rewards. Now everyone kind of has to go do that so they can catch up and also have those. So that's why they implemented that. It's just so, you know, you don't glitch it, you don't find a way to break it and get all of the good rewards before everyone else does. So that we're all kind of slowly but surely working at least somewhat at a similar pace. So that is the seasonal XP reward path. Again, that is where a majority of your best rewards are going to be at, and you don't even have to do anything. You just have to play the game. It'll record your XP and automatically apply it. Now we're going to go to Team Affinity, and Team Affinity comes in different drops. And so each season there are going to be 3 drops of Team Affinity, 3 different groups of Team Affinity. And each Team Affinity has 30 bosses in it, 1 for each of the 30 MLB teams, and they're divided up amongst the different divisions within MLB here. So let's go into the AL East one here, and you can take a look and you can see, okay, we've got some silver and bronze packs. That's good for completed collections, which we'll talk about in a minute. You have some jerseys and whatnot. But the big thing is, you know, the bosses. This is what you're doing Team Affinity for, is to try and get these free 89 overall cards. And I've gotten a couple of these already. Some of them are really good. Cedric Mullins is doing crazy for me. I'm hitting 346 with him with 9 home runs in 26 games. I'm doing really good with Cedric Mullins. He's killing it for me. So how do you progress this? Well, this is different. So Team Affinity and other programs work differently from the XP Reward Path, where the XP Reward Path, you get XP just by playing the game. For these, you have objectives to complete, and so it's broken down into a few different ways. First, you have moments. Now, I recommend always doing moments first. That is the quickest and easiest thing to just knock out, get it over with, and you get a lot of points towards the program that you're working towards. So I always like to do moments first. Then what you do is you'll look here and you'll look at any rewards you may have gotten from playing the moments. And let's say I get my first diamond boss here. You probably won't just by playing the moments in Team Affinity, but in other programs you probably will. Let's say I do that and I take Cedric Mullins. Now I put Mullins in my lineup. Now let's look at these missions here. So you have repeatable parallel XP missions. So this is just getting parallel XP with the different teams as well as these bosses. Parallel XP is XP you get with a certain card. So when I get a hit with Cedric Mullins here, you can see here, earn parallel XP. So I get parallel XP for every plate appearance, every single, every double, every triple, every home run. And if I'm playing in online game modes like ranked seasons, like events and Battle Royale, I get a 1.5 times multiplier to the amount of parallel XP I get. And when you get so much parallel XP, it's called paralleling a card. So when you get 500 XP, you see that big green 1, then you are at parallel 1, and that card gets a +1 to every attribute on the card. Then when you get 1,000 parallel XP with a card, you're at parallel 2, and then all the way up to 8,000 XP, you're at parallel 5. You have a +5 to every attribute on that card, and that is basically the highest you can go with a card. Now, your goal with these is to get parallel XP with different teams and then with those bosses there. There's also multiplayer missions, so goals for you to complete in the multiplayer modes, and then there's single player missions, which are goals for you to complete in the single player modes. Now, what I recommend doing is you do the moments first, and then you go into either Conquest or Showdown next. Now, a Showdown, we'll talk about that later. It's a single player mode where you basically go through a series of moments and try to make it all the way to the end without failing. And if you do, you usually get a whole bunch of progress towards whatever program that Showdown is related to. Conquest is a mode where it's basically like Risk, if you've ever played that board game, where you're just working to try and take over the board as fast as possible with your reinforcements here. And when you get to your enemy stronghold, you will go in, you'll play a 3-inning game. If you win, you take that stronghold. If you lose, you have to go again. And you just do that until you basically control the entire board. I'll go into more of that in more detail in another video, but there's overall a very basic view of Conquest and of Showdown. Those usually come along with other programs and with Team Affinity. Now, the thing you want to do before you head into Conquest is you want to put any players that have missions tied to them in your lineup. That way, when you're playing Conquest, when you're playing maybe mini seasons or something like that, you can be double dipping, basically. You can be working towards progress on the Conquest while also earning progress on these missions as well. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And basically the goal is just to, you know, over time, earn enough points to get all of these bosses, which you can do. You know, some of them take more time than others. Some of them can be pretty long. But usually they go by pretty quickly for the most part. And you're able to work through them over time. And again, it's just, you know, something to give you something to work towards. And it's all free. There's no money you have to put in to get any of this content. It's all 100% free. This is 30 free diamond tier cards that you can have in your lineup just by playing the game. So that's Team Affinity, and now we'll look at other programs. So the game just came out, so there's only 2 other programs currently in the game. There's the starter program, and this is just, you know, a basic one to sort of give you the feel for what a program is. And as you can see here, we have moments, we have some missions, then you have parallel XP missions, you have a collection. So collections are just basically that. You have to collect so many of a certain kind of card or equipment or bat skins or stuff like that, and you get a reward. Here, these collections give you rewards towards this program. Other collections will give you cards, they'll give you equipment, they'll give you stubs, they'll give you packs, whatever it is. And there's also player exchanges. I don't recommend ever doing player exchanges because unlike with collections, when you lock a card into collections, you can't sell it anymore, but you still get to keep the card. When you lock a card into exchanges, you lose the card permanently. You're never getting it back. You cannot use it anymore. It is gone. So I don't recommend doing exchanges. And then there's also a showdown here. We talked about that a little bit. So when I did this program, I did the moments first. Then I came down here, I did the showdown. And then I went and I saw that I had what I needed to complete the collections. I completed those. And then I went and saw, oh, I need 150 parallel XP with live series cards. Let me make sure I have live series players in my lineup. I have to get 500 parallel XP here with any player. So I made sure I had those in my lineup. That way, when I went and played something like Conquest or mini seasons or even like events or ranked seasons, I was getting what I needed in order to complete that mission and get more points toward the program. And then you also have the Spring Breakout program here at launch, which has a lot of players from the recent Spring Breakout series that MLB did with a lot of the big prospects. And these are really good cards. This Kyle Manzardo is really good. Tamar Johnson is an absolute beast. I'm hitting 512 with him. 11 home runs in 48 games. He is killing it for me right now. This Dylan Cruz card is absolutely unbelievable. I almost have him at parallel too. I'm hitting 381 with him. But if you look at the structure of this one, it's pretty similar. You have moments, you have parallel XP missions. And so I did the moments. The moments alone was enough for me to get Manzardo. Now I have a parallel XP mission to get Manzardo. So I put Manzardo in my lineup. I went and did the showdown. That also gave me enough to also have Tamar Johnson. I put him in my lineup, and then I went and played the Team Affinity Conquest map. So I was working towards Team Affinity, but I had these players in my lineup, so I was also working towards these parallel XP missions. It's all about completing as many objectives or getting progress towards as many objectives as you can at one time. And then also there were some general missions, so like tally 25 total bases with catcher or get on base 10 times with shortstop. So I had to make sure I had catchers. I had have people whose primary position was shortstop in my lineup. So it's all about just swapping cards in and out to get what you need in order to try and complete these missions as quickly as possible. But so there's your basic rundown on programs. That's where you're going to be earning the majority of your really good cards. Now there are some other places where you'll earn cards, like in Conquest. You'll sometimes get cards for completing objectives there. Also in multiplayer modes like ranked seasons, battle royale, and events, they will reward you cards for completing certain objectives. We'll talk about those in other videos later on in this series. But right now, just know that for the most part, most of your really good cards are going to come from these programs. So that's what you're going to be wanting to work towards overall while you're playing either your single player or your multiplayer modes. Now I want to talk a little bit about collections in general. So we talked a little bit about what a collection was. You lock in a card, you can't sell it anymore after you lock it into a collection, but you're still able to use it and you get some sort of reward for completing the collections. I want to talk about the different types of collections. So the main type of collection, the one that everyone is going to work towards at the beginning, now that the game is out, is called the Live Series collections. Now, what is the Live Series? The Live Series are the series of cards, and they look like this. They all have a similar layout to them. You know, they look like a real baseball card because their design is from the actual Topps series cards. That's why they have the Topps logo there on them. And so these cards, their ratings actually change. Their ratings will change throughout the course of the year based on how these players perform in real life. So Corbin Burns is at an 84 right now. If he comes out and has a really good first month of the season, he could go up to an 85 and become a diamond like Felix Bautista or Adley Rutschman here. Now the goal with the Live Series collection is to get all 40 players from every single team. So there's 40 cards, a card for every player on every MLB franchise's 40-man roster. Once you collect all 40 of them, you get that team's live series collection reward. So for the Orioles, it's this 87 Cal Ripken Jr. card. For my favorite team, the Yankees, it's this 90 overall Barney Williams that I'm really excited to get. So it's a very difficult process though, because 40 cards across 30 MLB teams, that's 1,200 cards that you have to collect. And so the majority of them will come from packs, and you'll get plenty of packs just by playing the game. You saw plenty of packs as rewards in those programs that we just looked at. And in those packs, you're going to pull players. You're going to pull players like a Juan Soto. You're going to pull players like an Aaron Judge maybe. But the majority of your cards will be, you know, these low tier, these commons, a bronze, some silvers, maybe a gold here and there. That's the majority of what you're going to pull. You know, you're not going to pull a diamond on every pack, obviously. But it's not supposed to be something that's done right away unless you're, you know, forking out tons of money, which again, I don't recommend doing. To me, that kind of kills the fun. It sort of kills the slow grind, the slow progression of your team in Diamond Dynasty. But what'll happen is as you complete teams and you get their rewards, then you can lock those rewards into this collection, which is the American League and National League collections, and you'll get the Rafael Palmeiro and the Pedro Martinez reward, and then you can lock those two in for the MLB reward, which is of course the big 99 Babe Ruth. That's referred to as the live series collection reward. That's what everyone's working towards. That's why people pull packs, is to get live series cards to lock into live series collections so they can get live series rewards. Now again, I don't recommend using stubs that you earn to buy packs. I would recommend, if I am just one card away from completing the Yankees live series and it's Aaron Judge, I'm going to save up my stubs to buy Aaron Judge. I'm not going to go buy a ton of packs hoping that maybe I'll pull Aaron Judge out of packs, because the probability of that happening is very, very slim. And the great thing about Diamond Dynasty that makes it different from other card collecting modes is there's only one currency. All there is in Diamond Dynasty is stubs. It's very straightforward. So, you know, the stuff that I get from playing the game is the same stuff I'm going to use to buy the cards that I want to use. And that's another reason why I think Diamond Dynasty is better than the other modes, because it doesn't try to trick you with these confusing different currency types. There's one currency. It's stubs, and that's it. And there's plenty of ways to earn stubs. Again, I'll have another video coming out on how to make stubs. There's plenty of stubs to go around for everyone. You're gonna get stubs. There's plenty of ways to make more if you need more. Do not buy stubs. Do not buy packs. So that's the live series collection. Now there's also going to be seasonal collections. So every season there'll be a new collection come out with different rewards for it. So here, for collecting 30 Season 1 cards, we have this 89 Craig Biggio. For completing 70, we get this 91 John Franco. And then you have the pack that you get for at 280, 300, and 325. And they also have 99 overall cards in them. And again, this is something that's going to take you a long time to complete. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, wait, what is a Season 1 card? Well, if we go back to the Manage Squad screen, you can see that every card here on my screen has that little S1 in the top left corner. But if we go here and we pull out a live series card, let's pull this JD Martinez here. You can see up there in the top left, it says Core. So there's two types of cards in Diamond Dynasty. There's seasonal cards and there's core cards. Seasonal cards can only be used within their season. So right now we're in Season 1, so there's only Season 1 cards right now. But when Season 2 begins, then we'll get Season 2 cards coming out. But we will no longer be able to use our Season 1 cards in certain modes. Now, there'll still be some modes where you are able to use your Season 1 cards during Season 2, but they're limited. So for the most part, you're going to be using Season 2 cards and core cards. Core cards can be used whenever. They can be used at any point throughout the year. All live series cards are core. I'm trying to think of what else is core. So The live series collections are core. A lot of the awards that you earn from like the Nation of Baseball Conquest map are core. So just remember that. You don't have to worry about it now. And as we approach Season 2, I'll put out a video about how to prepare for that, like how to get the wild card slots where you can still use some Season 1 cards in Season 2 and all that. But it's not something you have to worry about right now. Again, we're just into the game. We're still, 11 weeks or so away from Season 2. But just something to keep in the back of their mind there. But going back to collections here, we have the seasonal collection, then there'll be special collections. And these are collections usually for like different series of cards. For example, here you have the Hyper series and the Barrier Breaker series that you can collect all of those. And if you collect all 12 of them, you get this 91 overall Vlad Guerrero Jr. And they'll have different collections that they'll put out throughout the year, and they'll all have, usually at least one big card that you're working towards as the big collection reward. And everyone loves collections because it's a fun goal to be working towards kind of in the background. And it does encourage you to, buy cards off the marketplace and work towards something like that. But again, the great thing about Diamond Dynasty is even if you are, buying cards off the marketplace, you're not having to pay actual money to do that. You can earn plenty of stubs just from playing the game, and then there's also other ways to earn stubs as well by working the market and stuff like that. And speaking of the marketplace, here is the marketplace. I won't go into too much detail about this. One thing I will tell you is never, ever, 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 ever come in here and click buy now or sell now. Never do buy now. If you want to buy a card, you should go in here and you should create a buy order. Now, what that will do is it will put you in this sell list under the word sellable. So you see in this sell column, you have all of these. These are all of the people that want to buy this Shohei Ohtani card, and they are offering these amount of stubs for that card. And so if I had a Shohei Ohtani card and I came in here and I clicked sell and I clicked sell now, see it says sell now at 242,000. That would fill that person's buy order. Now, if I didn't do that, if I didn't create a buy order, then I would come in here and I'd hit buy now at 260,000. Well, that's about 18,000 stubs difference. So you always want to put in a buy order, and if you're going to sell a card, you want to put in a sell order because that will put you in the buy column. And usually what you want to do is you want to be at the top of these lists so that, your card, either you buy it or sell it as soon as possible so you can get what you want, or you either get the stubs or you get the card. So if you're going to be buying, you want to put it one stub above the highest price that there currently is. If you want to sell, you want to sell for one stub under the lowest price in the buy column. And I'll go into that in more detail and probably explain it a lot better later. But that's the basics of how to work the marketplace. That's going to do it for this video, y'all. I hope I gave you at least a little bit of basic beginner information about how Diamond Dynasty works, how you go about earning cards, and how you go about building your team. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave it a like and let me know down in the comments, what do you think of Diamond Dynasty and what questions do you have about Diamond Dynasty? What information do you want to know? What are you confused about? And I'll make sure to address it in my later videos. Also, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our future Diamond Dynasty videos. For all your MLB The Show news and updates, stay tuned to Sports Gamers Online. I'm Brandon Satterwhite with SGO. Thank you for watching.